Hey, you're the newest member of the GUNTALK After Show Club. Yeah, you're already a member since you downloaded the After Show, and that means you're serious about shooting, safety, and gun-related issues. Man, if you come to the right place, you're among friends and like-minded people here. Hey, if you're on hold, stay there, because Tom is coming back to the microphone. And during the After Show, you can take your time and really dig into those issues. So once again, here's Tom Gresham, our show producer Jim Kinsey, Michael, and Michelle.
This is what we call the after show because it comes not before, but after the show. Brilliant, don't you think, guys?
Funny how that works.
We have Michael, Michelle, and Jim with us. So the usual crowd. And we have some folks that are on hold. They're going to be joining us here with some interesting, cool questions. I thought it was fun that we had Ted Nugent call us today.
Yeah.
That was a good surprise. Always listening.
And of course, Michelle, you always get the calls in there. So what does Ted say when he calls and you don't know? It just the phone rings and you just pick it up.
I pick it up and he says, "Hi, this is Ted Nugent." And you know who it is.
There you go. So do you guys have your own little conversation before he gets to the air?
Just a real slight conversation. He was so excited to call in, and he was listening live and wanted to reach out to you, Tom. And I think it's great to have ambassadors like that, as much opposition as he could get out there. But we need ambassadors of all sorts. Yeah,
we need people who can speak to various groups. And there's going to be one group that's going to respond to Ted's message, and then some people who are not going to. But then there are going to be other people who respond to a different kind of message. And, so you need all of it.
That's right. All of them.
That's the whole deal. And I guess to spin that a little bit further, guys, like Jim, I know you are doing it all the time, and Michael, each of us needs to be speaking out on this on whatever level we can. If it's one-on-one or to a group or whatever it is, wherever you are, you kind of look for, maybe not force necessarily, but look for the opportunity.
Yeah, perfect example. I joined our local American Legion the other night. Big sign on the door, no guns. They said, "So what are some of the things you plan on doing? How do you help the post?" I said, "First thing we got to address is that sign on your door."
So did you really?
Yeah, I did. So they know where I'm coming from, and I've got a few friends there, so it's not like I'm a total stranger just walking in. But they all shoot too, so we'll address that.
Well, that's good. And it's one of those deals you say, okay, why? What's it's the American Legion. If somebody says, do you think maybe, and I know it's going to sound out there to some people, do you think there might be some group in the world that would like to perhaps do an attack on American Legion post somewhere?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I don't think the sign's going to keep them out.
Well, that's kind of what I said. I said I'd like to see the stats on how many people that sign has dissuaded from coming in. I mean, come on.
Only the ones that have carry permits and obey the law.
Right, exactly. Hey, by the way,
ones you kind of would like to come in.
Yeah, not only a 20th year anniversary, congratulations to you, but a 1 year anniversary. Today is the 1 year anniversary of the GUNTALK After Show.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, it is. I thought I'd save that as a surprise for you.
So it's time to pull the plug on that puppy.
It can't possibly last.
That's right. I've had enough of this foolishness.
You've heard that. You've heard that before, right?
That's 6 weeks. Yeah.
There's not a week that goes by that people don't say, "Would you please stop doing that?" Good grief. And by the way, who are those people that you're talking to? They're just the voices in my head. What can I tell you?
We have other voices we need to speak to now, though. We do. We should do that. Let's start off with Brian on one. He's out of Des Moines, Iowa. Hey, Brian, thanks for your patience. How are you?
Not a problem. I'm fantastic. I've got a quick question for you, maybe a two-part question. I'm not sure yet. So basically, okay. I am constantly chasing down the next item that I think is going to be unavailable for me in 6 months to a year from now. A great example, I just picked up a big 150-round box of the XM 855 5.56 ammo, and I'm actually sitting in the parking lot of my local gun shop. I'm going to go in and try to give myself a Mosin Nagant. Now,
my kind of guy. I love it. You're calling us from outside the gun store. I love this.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm pretty active in state legislation here in Iowa. I think we're going to get a suppressor. We're going to get the suppressor ban lifted, I think, this year. So that's another $200 I have to save. But my question to you is it worth it for me to continue chasing the next thing that may not be available, like this M85 or M855 ammo and a Mosin Nagant, is it worth it, or should I just sit back and wait and see what happens?
Well, I guess the real question is, once you buy stuff that you think is going to be banned, then what? Is your plan to wait till the prices go up and then sell it? Or I guess the why?
No.
What's your thinking? Why would you be doing it?
Well, these are all things like, for instance, the Mosin Nagant. It's been on my list for a while now, and it's just been one of those guns where I thought I was pretty safe saying, well, I really want it, but I can wait. It's going to be $150 still next year. But at this point, every gun store I call here in the Des Moines area is telling me, we're not getting any more in. We got one in a month ago, and I haven't seen one since. So they're all on my list anyway. I have no intentions in selling them. For instance, I just bought myself a nice Russian SKS for $500 some odd. I only did that because I wanted one anyway, but I'm feeling like, maybe a year from now it'll be $600, $700. So I'll get it now while it's quote-unquote cheap, and I'll have it in my safe when I want to use it.
I'm never going to tell you it's a bad idea to buy a gun that you like and you want. Now, if you're talking about speculating to buy things and then sell them at an increased price, that's a whole different issue, especially on ammo. I mean, it's like the ammo you're buying is 223 ammo or 556, either way. We're going to have 223 ammo. So unless you say, I just really want this particular kind of ammo, I'm not sure why that would be. I'm not sure it's a big deal one way or the other. But if you can get it at a good price, why not? But if I bought it, this particular ammo, I would start shooting. I wouldn't be wasting. I wouldn't hoard it. Ammo is for shooting. Now, it's a good idea, buy ammo and stockpile some so that you have some for the downtimes. But that's only for shooting. That's kind of my approach. I know people, I don't know a guy, but I know a guy who knows a guy in one of those deals who said, this guy has more than 1 million rounds of 22 rimfire. Literally more than 1 million rounds. Wow. And I'm going, okay, that's starting to get to the point where I'm not sure you're going to be able to shoot all of that yourself. So I'm not sure what that's about. But no, carry on. If you find something that you think, what it does is it gives you a direction. Now, it's not a direction of your own choosing is the only problem. If you're saying, well, I'm just going to buy whatever it is I think the anti-gunners are going after, that's going to kind of have you going all over the place as opposed to say, this is where I'm going with your collecting or your buying. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely it does. I guess the only thing I'd have, my next question for you is, do I walk in here right now and spend $200 in this Mosin Nagant, or do I wait a few months and hopefully they start coming into the country again and get one for $130?
I'd go buy the rifle. You're there. You want it. Yeah, because here's the thing. If I don't tell you to buy it and the prices go up, you're going to be so mad at me. And so I'd rather spend your money now than have you be mad at me later.
Well, I'm not the one to be worried about. My girlfriend's going to call your show later tonight or tomorrow and yell at you about that. So.
Well, I don't want any of that. I can tell you. You need to go buy that gun right now, Brian. Hey, listen, thanks for your call. I appreciate it, man. Oh, goodness gracious. You know what I figured out, guys? It's fun to spend other people's money.
It's quite easy.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy, too. That's right.
Well, see,
Can't go wrong.
If I was him, what's the worst case scenario? It does become available for $50 less next year. He's spent $1 a week. He could have been shooting the darn thing and enjoying it.
That's right. You had it the whole time. Right. That's a good point, Jim. We never talk about the value of time in all of this. And if you put something off, then you didn't have it to enjoy it, to shoot it, or have it. Even if you're not going to shoot it, have it to collect it.
Tomorrow's
yes,
not
maybe it'll go up,
though.
maybe it'll go down. I don't know. Guns go up, guns go down. The only guns that I am fairly sure are definitely going to appreciate are the guns that are already crazy expensive. When you're buying guns that are priced like collector cars, when they're six figures, those guns are going to keep going up.
Yeah.
But I don't get to play in that world, so I don't know. It's I was just looking at what do they call it? The Rock Island Armory in Illinois. They have these auctions.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. Have you ever looked at some of those guns those guys auction off? It's nutsy prices. Now, they do have some, fairly inexpensive in this case being a few $1,000s. But they also have, $60,000 guns and $600,000.
Didn't they have a 1911 go for $70,000 or something last year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Well, actually, that takes us, with that segue, I'm going to jump all the way down to line 4 with Bill's with us out of Hot Springs, talking about a 1911. Hey, Bill, what you got there?
Hey, how are you? Thank you for taking my call, and enjoy the show every Sunday afternoon. And my father was in the Marine Corps during World War II, and according to him, Colt could not keep up with the manufacturing of the 1911, so they issued the patent out to Ithaca, which is what he has. And I'm wondering, number one, is it a collector's item? Is it something we should keep in the family?
Well, those are two different questions. Is it a collector's item? Maybe. They made 392,000. Ithaca did 392,000 units of the model 1911, and so that's not like a small number. Singer Sewing Machine Company made 500. Those are very collectible. Those are six-figure guns. This one, collectible is one thing. Keeping it in the family is a different thing, and I would say absolutely, positively keep it in the family because that gun has history. Now, is your dad still around?
Yes.
Get him to tell you the story and get out your phone or a video camera or something and video him telling the story, everything he knows about that gun. Gather all the family information about it. Now you have not just a gun, but you have family stories attached to the gun. That becomes valuable, maybe not to anybody else, but it becomes valuable to your family.
Correct. Okay. I appreciate that. Because he was always proud of the fact that he was one of the few people in his gun company that had an Ithaca issue 45.
Mm-hmm. Well, get the story now. Don't wait on this. And, have him hold the gun, shoot the video, have him tell you about it, the whole deal. That becomes very cool stuff. And then you can store it on the cloud so that, the members of your family can have access to that. And then that gun can be passed down to other members of your family. That would be a cool thing to do. Bill, I appreciate the call, and it gives me a chance to talk about the fact that, guys, we've talked about this before, that guns become the vehicle for so many multi-generational stories, don't they?
Absolutely, all the time. If you work in any kind of retail on the way that we do, we have people that come in with parts of collections or full collections wanting to know, what their value is. And lots of times, unfortunately, it's worth a better family heirloom than it is money. Yes,
but, it's one of those deals that, unfortunately, if they're looking for money, but the fortunate part is it's maybe more important for it to be a family heirloom because it carries the stories.
Right. We recommend that all the time. That's something that you should hold on to. You shouldn't necessarily get rid of that. So to us, the family side of things, passing it down now to be able to watch the other family members enjoy it, opening it. You have a better feel for what you did and appreciate the fact that they are now able to enjoy it.
Well, the other thing is, if you give it to somebody now, the right person's going to get it. Then if you wait until you die and you hope that it gets distributed the way that you wanted it to go.
Yeah, I think it makes it more personable to be able to give that away.
Yep, I agree. Tell you what, Mike, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you in just a second. I need to take a quick break here, guys, so we can sell some cool stuff, and then we'll be right back after this.
The Ruger LCRX is a variation of the LCR that features an external hammer, allowing it to be fired in single-action mode. The LCRX can also be fired in double-action mode. It features a monolithic frame made from aerospace-grade 7000 series aluminum, a patented Ruger friction-reducing cam that results in a smooth, non-stacking trigger pull, and a patent-pending polymer fire control housing that significantly reduces weight and helps reduce recoil. The Ruger LCRX Revolver, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
If you could just be here during the breaks. Somehow we got into microphones and then put a sock over your microphone, and then you're going to, it just devolves so quickly around here, guys.
There's a reason we don't let people in here. It's for their own good.
This is true. It's true, just for whatever. Mike's been on hold for a while here, and I want to answer this question, get to this, out of Marshall, Texas, line 3. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Good. You had a question about Merit optic device, and I think that's a great question.
I have one, and I I don't know why it works, but I can tell you I bought one on recommendation. I read about it. It works, man. It's helped me. I'm over 60 now, and it's made a difference.
Okay, I can tell you why it works. First of all, let me explain to people what it is. It is an aperture, a little small disc that you can attach to your shooting glasses, and you look through this, and it's almost like a pinhole when you're looking through it. I'm a photographer, and when you have a camera lens, you have an aperture that opens all the way up or closes down. It lets a lot of light in or lets a small amount of light in. But when you close it down and the hole gets smaller and smaller and smaller, it increases the depth of field. That is, how much is in focus. So if it's wide open, like your natural eye, you have a shallow depth of field. So you might be able to see the front sight, but not the target well. When you stop down the lens, or in this case, you put a little aperture in front of your eye. Tell you what, here's a cool trick. A guy taught me this. This is really neat. If you'll take your hand and make the OK symbol with it, with a big hole there, and then close it up and close it up and close it up till there's just a little bitty hole, and you put it right up close to your eye, and you will be able to see so much better. You can see close-up things if you have a problem with close-up vision. You're actually making the same thing that you have with this Merit optical device, this attachment. But people have been using this kind of device for probably 80 years at least for competitive shooting.
Explain that.
Now,
Tom.
do you use it for handgun? I mean, this thing is, it's a stick-on. It goes right onto the lens of your glasses, and it's just a little, like a disc with a little bitty hole in it.
I just use it for my handguns.
So what does it do for you? What do you see it doing?
Well, when you the directions that came with it, it's adjustable, and the directions said to get it to a point where the picture's not getting darker. Move it that way. And
right.
What I've noticed, it just seems to clear things up. There's not as much blur. And, I can see my front sight. I can see my front sight a lot easier. The target seems to be more clear. It baffles me how it works.
That's it. It's basically stopping down. It's looking through an aperture. If people want to see a picture of it or learn more about it, the company is Merit with one T, MERIT Corporation.com. It's MERIT Corporation.com. You can see pictures of it and how it works. But yeah, that thing has been around for a long time, and precision rifle shooters use variations of that also. But that's a pretty cool device. I had not thought about these things in a long time. I am so glad you called and asked about that. Now, you had something else you want to talk about with Democrats in D.C.
The man that called earlier and talked about Ted Nugent being kind of polarizing, I understand what he's saying. I just wish you had suggested to him that in Washington, D.C., the anti-gun legislation comes from the Democrats.
Not always.
Well, most of the time. How much would you say comes from the right? 5% maybe?
But see, here's the thing. I don't care where it comes from.
Well, I don't.
I want to fight the action. And here's the thing. I guess what I need to do is explain, because I kind of separate the two. Because I've had people say, well, the Democrats. And what they're thinking is the elected Democrats. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Democrats who live on either side of you in your neighborhood. And if you go out to the general public and you start talking Democrats bad, Democrats this, liberals bad, liberals, your neighbors who may be gun owners, who may even be NRA members, but who also may be Democrats, and that's especially true when you get in the South. You've got a lot of Democrats who are gun owners, hunters, shooters, gun rights people. They're going to feel alienated, and they're not going to want to work with you because you're basically bad-mouthing them. We don't win anything when we badmouth people who would otherwise want to work with us. So, yes, I understand the elected officials in D.C., the Democrat Party itself, the leaders, tend to push gun control measures. At the same time, I wouldn't trust John Boehner as far as I could throw Mount Everest. So, I think that guy would stab us in the back and smile. He'd pat you on the back and stab you in the back at the same time. So, I don't think you can trust any of these yahoos up there. But I get your point, and I appreciate it, Mike. But I guess I make a differentiation between Democrats as a whole, people who vote Democrat, or at least support some things in the Democrat Party, if I can get them to help us on this one issue, that's a win. And I know people have said, yeah, but you don't understand. They're going to vote for the Democrats who are going to be anti-gun. I got it. I understand it. My only question is, you're not going to change them on that. But would you like to have them help you on the gun issue? If we can win them over to help us on the gun issue by not calling them names, why don't we get the help we can get? I need some help here, guys. Michael, Jim, is there a better way to explain this than what I'm doing?
It makes perfect sense to me. If you alienate anybody in the course of any conversation, they're automatically, even if they don't realize they're doing it, going to shut off listening to you. At least I do it. If somebody, I don't even care what it is, but if you say something that's maybe irritating to me, I'm going to focus on that, and I'm going to completely forget about what you're talking about.
I think that's human nature.
Right. So I think you made a great point.
If the guy comes up to you and says, people who drive Chevys are just stupid, and you're
right.
driving a Chevy, and the thing is, and he watched you drive the Chevy, so it's a targeted insult. It's not like a general; it's a targeted insult. At that point, you're probably not really disposed toward his attitude or helping him on anything, as opposed to him coming up and saying, hey, would you like to help us clean up this roadside over here? It's really a mess. You go, yeah, I'm in favor of that. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican or what you are. If I believe in this issue, I'll help you. Well, there's a lot of folks who are Democrats, self-described and self-selected liberals who support gun rights. I can't throw that support away.
And they're going to have way more leverage going to talk to a liberal politician than you are going to be because they have a foot in the door.
Mm-hmm. Great point. That's exactly right. I mean, somebody who has been going to the Democratic fundraisers and knows the people there, if he or she can slide in at one of these meetings and say, guys, we ought to be backing off on this gun issue. This is a loser for us. They can get somebody's attention in a way that sometimes some of us might not be able to. And
we'll turn that around, Tom.
I'm for using everything we got.
Yeah, we'll turn that around. Let's say you got a gun buddy, and he's trying to convince you into something you haven't done before, which I can't think of anything you haven't done. But let's say you've never bass fished before, and he's a big bass fisherman, and you guys have guns in common, and you have no interest in bass fishing whatsoever. But you're more likely to listen and or give it a try because you have common ground with this guy on another topic, which happens to be guns. It works the total opposite way works as well when we're trying to get people that are on our side to do something that they may or may not have done. We've got to leverage that commonality as opposed to polarizing people and then say, well, you're not going to help me now? What gives?
You're ugly. Would you like to help me?
Yeah. I need $20.
It's just probably not a real good sales technique. I'm just saying.
Well, you got to kind of adopt the same opposition. I mean, look, like you were talking about earlier. Oh, it's no longer called gun control. It's called gun safety, right? Well, it's a change in words, but it's all about, I'm not trying to be, mischievous here, but it's all about how you word things. You can't go up to somebody and say, hey, we need to clean up this street because the Republicans and independents all threw the trash over there and expect them to, and come over and look at you.
Yeah.
So it's about how you word it.
Well, they've had an edge in wording for years.
Right.
They really have. And to be fair about it, it's not that we're not good at it. It's that if
tricky.
You can't get the media to carry your message and the other side has a built-in vehicle, the media will parrot whatever they say, then they do have a leg up. And so I will tell you, one of the things that has made a monstrous difference, two things really, made a huge difference in us being able to start regaining our gun liberties, our gun values over the last 20, 25 years. Two things. One is talk radio, because the, if you will, liberal media, the mainstream media, had a total lock on messaging until talk radio. Mm-hmm. It's why they hated it so much, because they couldn't control it. And that's why people responded to it so well. And the other, of course, is simply the Internet. It is the great democratization with a small d of the information flow. And it has rendered, in many cases, the general mass media irrelevant.
Well, they're talking about the evening news with this Brian Williams stuff going on. And they said how important, 20, 30 years ago, the evening news, everybody tuned in to watch that. And now it's pretty irrelevant, because by 5 or 6 o'clock, if you don't know what happened, what went on during the day, you're probably not real news conscious anyway.
Funny you mention that. I was listening, and I'm usually busy during the day. I'm working, and I don't listen to a lot of radio during the day. But I happened to be driving, and I was listening to a little bit of Rush and listening to a little bit of Hannity, and they're talking about the Brian Williams thing, and I kept waiting, and neither one of them connected the dots. And I know that they know this stuff, and sometimes you're just too close to it, or you have forgotten that you actually learned all this some time back. But to connect the dots, the Brian Williams telling lies, let's just call it what it is, or self-aggrandizing or whatever, why is that important? Here's why it's important. It's because what he says affects, well, his choice of what is news and its presentation affects public opinion. I mean, now we're returning to some familiar ground here. Mm-hmm. Public opinion determines public policy, which is laws. So if you could control the dissemination of news, of information, which is, he's a gatekeeper, that's what he does, then you can control what the public wants to do in terms of public policy, passing gun control laws or not. When he is shown to be biased and a liar, we've pretty much known most of the national news media tend to be on our issue, at least. We know that. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If they're that way on our issue, how are they on other issues where we don't actually know what the story is? That's the connecting the dots. And people say, well, why is it so important? That's why it's so important. It's because he has the ability to move public policy by moving public opinion. That's why it's important.
Well, how's that different from propaganda?
Not sure it is. But once again, 30 years ago, that was all you got. You got Walter Cronkite. Mm-hmm. You got, Huntley Brinkley going way back. You had basically three sources of news and the TV networks. Mm-hmm. And there was no CNN. There was none of that. And now
there were
500 channels.
Yeah, their word was gospel.
Well, sure. We just believed it because, well, you know why we didn't question it? Because we had no way of finding out any other viewpoint. Mm-hmm. Now we can go look at the original documents ourselves. We can, and look, I am quick to admit that I think Fox is as guilty as CNN is on this stuff. I don't trust about a third to a half of what they say either. Right. It's all selling the news as opposed to delivering the news. It's all about, can I scare you enough to keep watching through the break at the quarter hour? Because we can measure you in the first 15 minutes and we can measure you in the second 15 minutes for the Nielsen ratings. And so we have to say something outrageous that carries you into the second 15 minutes.
Because if we have you, we can set our advertising prices where we'd like them.
Why do you think Jimmy Fallon doesn't take a commercial break until about 17 after the hour?
There you go.
That's the nature of TV, baby. That's how it works. Yep. So there you go. So, anybody got your order in for a GT20?
No, I'm going to have to go the deposit route. I just don't have it today.
You're the only one who actually, you're the only person probably listening to this who has actually seen one and held one.
You can just stop right there. I'm the only person listening. Is what you could have stopped right there.
You forget about that mind meld we did. I'd experienced the gun as well.
Oh, that's right. Wow. What a gun. What a trigger. It's just cool.
I mean,
it's beautiful.
Don't you? It's beautiful, but when you pick it up, there's a feel to it that you don't get. And I think it's because of the heft. I mean, it's not a light gun. It's a big metal, it's just a steel gun. It's not even an alloy gun. And you pick it up and you go, okay, now I'm carrying this is a gun I got in my hand. This is a real serious gun.
Yeah, well, with all the alloys and stuff and the way guns go. And it's great that technology has got that way. But there is a big difference between picking up something with mass to it versus a little titanium, hammerless or something.
It's not plastic and it's not alloy. This is made of genuine steel. So it's going to be fun.
Once I grind that GT20 decal off the side, it'll be great.
That's right. I would. Or you know what? A little bit of skateboard tape will be fine. Just that'll be fine. Just roll that around.
That's a collector gun. Let's modify it.
First thing you do is take it out of the box and take your file to it, right?
Yeah, right.
Dremel tool. And look, if you're going to do that, you might as well shoot video and stick it on YouTube. It'll be like the ultimate unboxing video.
Yeah. I'll be getting more calls than I get already.
There you go.
Well, happy anniversary again.
Well, thank you. We are just about there. I think officially, first show, I believe, was March the 5th.
Yep, 1st of March.
So we're getting real close. Which, by the way, I guess we can tip people off. We're actually going to be doing a show in a couple of weeks from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be kind of fun. The first time we're going to the IWA show, IWA show, which is the European Shot Show, if you will.
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Those letters don't stand for European Shot Show, though.
Yes, they do. In my form of German, they do.
Okay. All right, then.
So, what do I know? I don't know nothing.
What does it stand for? International Weapons Alliance?
It's probably some kind of German word, since it's in Germany.
Good point.
And German words can be very long.
Maybe Iowa is a word. It's not even an acronym.
Check it out here, guys. Where are the guns? All right, here we go.
Wo sind die Waffen?
Okay, I have my German translator app.
Cool.
I don't think
We're
Siri's allowed
geeking
to
now.
talk about guns as far as...
Yeah.
That's right. I'm probably going to wipe my phone completely off. Apple's going to close it down. There you go.
I am not permitted to translate that message.
I am not a Samsung TV.
I have just reported you to the authorities. Especially since it was done in German. So there you go.
It's a topic for a whole nother show.
This will be fun. Actually, they have a lot of kind of high-end, more hunting. They don't have a tradition, of course, of self-defense over there. So it's going to be more of the hunting and target shooting. So I think it's going to be fun to see what kind of guns and accessories and everything they have over there. So that'll be a fun deal. We'll shoot some pictures and put them on the Facebook page and all that.
Coolio.
Very cool.
Okay, be good. All right. Well, you guys have a good week. I think we have whipped this horse enough at this point. So, all righty. So, go out and there's a guy looking for a Mosin the Gant out there. He's trying to get permission from his girlfriend. I think that was actually what that call was all about. Was getting the okay so he can say, well, Tom told me to. So what I'm going to do now is give a blanket okay to everybody. This is a dispensation for everyone. You may go out and buy 2 guns this week, but only 2.
Oh, gotta go.
It's okay. Oh,
We lost Michael. I'm
talking to myself now. Everybody's gone. All right, there you go. All right, we'll see you next week, guys.
See you, Tom.
Bye.
Hey, we appreciate you listening to the Gun Talk After Show. Be sure and tell your friends, and remember, everything Gun Talk is available 24/7 at guntalk.com. Be sure and join Tom, Jim, Michelle, and Michael for another Gun Talk After Show next week right here.